And at the end of the day, you know, I appreciate you just for sharing that, because like a lot of people appreciate real shit. And
well, listen, I've been through it, and I feel like that impacts my interview style. Even when I was interviewing people who are controversial or going through controversial things, whether it be Antonio Brown, whether it be Adrian Peterson, Vontaze Burfict, Frank Clark, I mean, all the people that I've interviewed, controversy or not, I feel like, you know, they know I'm still gonna ask. Right. But they also know it's going to be down the middle, it's going to be fair, and they also know I can understand and I can relate. Right. And even at times when people are doing things that people perceive to be crazy or a lot, you know, I remember my Super Bowl interview with AB, and you know all the things that he's going through, and he has gone through a lot, and it has expressed himself in a lot of different ways. But my feeling, based on how I want to be treated and how I feel like people perceive me, is to ask, you know, but what's the why behind that? You know, why are you, you know, expressing yourself like that? You know, it comes from somewhere. And Oprah once said that a lot of times that when she does interviews, she will ask people, you know, like, what's the most traumatic thing that happened to you when you were a child? Because the answer to that one question can explain so much about a person. You know, at the root of anger is pain. At the root of, you know, frustration and acting out is pain. So if you can get to the pain of a person, that's, you know, I mean, before I told you that, a lot of people wouldn't even have known that about me. Two years ago, people might not have known I had just maybe $340 in my bank account at one point, because I was just being stubborn about moving out of my spot, you know what I'm saying, and doing what I needed to do. But at the same time, I always came up, because my mother is the same way, and my father is the same way, always said to me, and well, my grandfather, your last name starts with Anderson, so always act like you're at the front. But also, too, is, you know, to always dress beyond where you are. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I know clothes gives you a certain identity, as a way to express yourself. But like the other day when I was covering the Bills-Dolphins game, and I was going through a lot of stuff with my production behind the scenes, and I was not in a good space mentally before I did the game. And I was just like, whatever. Camilla, this designer, had sent me some stuff. And I was just like, I didn't know if I was going to wear it at that game. But I just did it for me, because I was just like, you know what? And I felt so much better when I went to the game, because it's not necessarily about flossing, because expressing myself has always been about how I'm feeling that day. Yeah. And it did just give me a boost or what have you. Right. And I remember Ron Miller came over and people were like, oh, but it did give me a boost. And that's what you can give yourself, even when, you know, you're going through that nobody even knows. I don't know what you were going through before you got here today.
So this, what I did go through, in a part of my morning routine, I do listen to inspirational clips. And T.D. Jakes was in my audio. I do that for multiple reasons, because I take pride in taking my children to school. I went to 3 different schools this morning.
Westlake, so you for real doing daddy daycare.
Oh my goodness, like real talk. Right. I went to Westlake High School, which is my alma mater. My son goes there now. Yeah. I went to Woodward Academy. Yeah. I dropped Sovereign Dior off my daughter and Chosen off, boom. And then I went to the Goddard School as well, where my son Kamitis is going right now in pre-K. And as I'm going through that, I play audios to get into their mind. You are great. You are impactful. You are smart. You are things, as a way to, it's
positive affirmations.
It's positive affirmation. And one thing that he said is like, listen, some things in life require you to be your biggest fan. Don't look for somebody else to give you something that you ain't even doing for yourself. You know, my girl, she always says, like, I'm always guilty of being hard on myself. Like, damn, Ken, you stupid as fuck. Right? That was aggressive, but I'm sorry. But it comes out, you know, and it's like, oh man, damn.
You don't realize how you putting that in your own DNA. Yeah, I know what you're about to say.
But to me, I say, you know, I always see KD do it, right? And, you know, it's just the first thing that popped up. Like when he shoots a 3 or whatever, he slaps himself on the behind. It's almost like a pat on your back. And like for me too, like when I do certain things, like I'm just like, I give myself a hug. And for a person who doesn't know me, they'd be like, oh, he's so into himself. Oh, he's so arrogant.
No, you're boosting yourself.
Yes.
And you can't, and listen, you can't be afraid to let people know what you've done, you know, because if anybody is going to give yourself, you know, some positive love, you know, it has to start with yourself. Listen, I don't have no problem. I mean, thanks, you know, for the introduction, but I don't have no problem telling you either, you know, because sometimes, you know, people act like they don't know.
Correct.
And let's, you know, let's know what it is. But even to what you're saying, just about how you started off your day, you know, one of the things that I found was, how, and I think was a big reason in helping my hair come back too, was just how important routine is. And even just not only the experience of it, but like someone like my co-host, Morris Chestnut, he gets up every day like around 4 a.m. and he always talks about, like, he's so diligent about it. And like sometimes I feel like we all get up like based on how we feel. I do it today based on how I feel. And he always talks about how important it is to get, you know, yourself done for yourself before you do anything for anybody else. And there was a time when I was going through that for 2 years where I was really good, not necessarily right now because the season started, but just making sure I get up and I do my yoga, and I feel so much better when I do that. And I learned how I mean, and we can get even deeper into this, but yoga would teach you, especially yin yoga and other stuff like that, is that how much stress even women carry in their pelvis section. So sometimes you might stretch out your pelvis and not realize while you're crying, because you can learn about that stuff, how you carry trauma even in your pelvis area, how you carry ama in your brain, and when you stretch, you're not just stretching just to release muscle fascia, but you're also releasing things that you're storing in your body, and it has to come. And stretching is one way of releasing those toxins out of your body, out of your mind, and and then juicing. How important juicing has become to me. I can go on and on and on and on about that.
Let's talk about it. Like,
no,
I'm sensing that. Through the darkest time of your life, or one of the darkest times, or a time in your life, you relied on diet as a way to cleanse yourself.
And my mind, and my heart, and also just became educated just so much about how, like I said, there are things on this earth that are truly healing, how important it is just to start your morning off with lemon water and lime water. People, you gargle your mouth, but you have to gargle your stomach. You have to clean your stomach. And then, from there, how important,
the gut is important.
Absolutely, how important, celery juice is. And I know people make fun, Victor, all these people make fun of me about that, but people don't really know that, celery in and of itself is really a way to push out pathogens out of your body, bacterial and viral. And cucumber juice, and how, when you peel a cucumber, you don't really notice how cold a cucumber is by itself, and how cucumber can lower the temperature in your body so you don't have inflammation and mucus and things like that, and how good it is for your skin. I'm proud to be, what am I, 44? You know what I'm saying? I've been around for a long. Yes, I am. And I proudly take care, but I've always done that and taken care of my skin.
Who put you on this? Is this a new Josina?
What, as far as like the attention to this stuff? I wasn't all into this stuff until I lost my hair, really. When you have an autoimmune, that was like a sudden onset. And I didn't know about alopecia at the time when it came out, and I saw a bald spot there. I was blaming the hairdresser, like, how you put a bald spot in my head, take it out my track. And I'm like, how in the hell? Now, I would lift my hair up here and had a huge bald spot here, and I never thought my hair would be back here. Right. But anyways, so I became into that. Going through that experience, and just how important cucumber is, with that, and people don't know, like a East Indian herb like mangista is important to move lymph, and how important lymph is. And then, like the other day, one of my friends who's behind the scenes, he was showing me that he had eczema, and he was getting ready to go to the dermatologist, and I was like, and I'm not poo-pooing Western medicine, but I was just like, that's all about your liver. What is happening on your skin is about your liver and heavy metals and viruses and bacteria that you have to clean out, and that they get trapped in your skin when your lymph is backed up. So when you clean your lymph and you move your lymph and your gut is healed, then everything can exit out your body as it should and not get trapped in your skin. That's what eczema, psoriasis, and things like that are. It's The dermatoxin effect. So like, for example, when I started juicing, I read about this thing called the dermatoxin effect. It comes from Anthony Williams. You can, go to his Instagram page, Medical Medium or what have you. And he was like, if you juice and you don't exercise, you might see this thing called the dermatoxin effect. You get rashes or eczema, certain things on your skin. And so when I went to the dermatologist just to see what they was going to say, oh, you have eczema. And I was like, no, I don't. It's the dermatoxin effect. You know what I'm saying? I knew I started juicing, but I wasn't exercising at the same time. Right. So if you start juicing, you don't exercise. It has nowhere. You have to do all. You got mind, body, and soul has to go together.
Correct.
You have to do it all together. Right. And so once I started exercising, and then I was also taking this thing called Mangisto and this other things that I was doing at the time, it cleared up on its own without doing anything. Like I had no spots on my skin, whatsoever. And I didn't put no steroid creams or put any extra stuff that's gonna mess up my liver that is gonna show up as something else 3 years from now. So anyways, I can go on and on about that stuff. But I mean, I'm a natural researcher. Yeah. I'm a natural person that loves information. Right. So instead of, doing it for you to get ready for an interview, I was just doing it for myself.
Yeah.
I was just doing it for myself.
Man, I like that, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. This is impact. You about to tell me, hey, I say, man, order celery juice for the whole damn crew, and that's what we eat.
You would see me on the set with a big thing. It might be like free agency. You go back and look at some of those clips. I have a tall thing of green juice on the set because I knew what I was going through.
Made.
Yes, I knew what I was going through at the time. My last year at ESPN, I was losing my hair, and while they were stressing me out over everything going on behind the scenes, they didn't know I was literally losing my hair at the same. I mean, oh my God, we could.
So listen, that's very wowing and impactful.
Yeah. I told you I'd give you something.
Man, you dropped it. I'm starting to tell you, you dropped information on me and for us just to be able to go back and say, damn, is she right? She was right. Like, what are we doing? Like, let me do this.